The year was 1997. The setting was a quiet, unassuming town in rural Idaho. Life here was typically peaceful. This sense of security was shattered one autumn evening. 12-year-old Sarah Miller vanished. She was last seen playing in her own backyard. Her mother called her for dinner. There was no answer. Sarah's parents began a frantic search. Neighbors soon joined the search efforts. Flashlights cut through the growing darkness. The small community rallied together. A neighbor found her in a small, secluded clearing. Sarah was reportedly floating, suspended a few inches above the ground. When local law enforcement arrived, they were met with disbelief. The officers meticulously examined the area around Sarah. They searched for any clue, any small detail. The ground was soft from recent rain, yet the scene yielded almost nothing tangible for their investigation. One of the most perplexing aspects was the complete absence of footprints. There were no footprints leading to Sarah. There were no footprints leading away from her. Her own small shoes left no marks. If an abductor had carried her, their prints should be there. The ground was otherwise undisturbed. It was as if she had been placed there from above, or had simply materialized in that spot. This lack of physical traces baffled the experienced officers. It was not a typical missing person case. Furthermore, there were no signs of a struggle. Sarah's clothing was neat, though slightly damp from the dew. There were no torn fabrics, no discarded items. Nothing suggested a violent encounter. Sarah was carefully lowered by the first responders. She was then rushed to the nearest hospital. She remained unconscious for several hours. When she finally awoke, she was disoriented. Her parents were by her side, relieved but anxious. They hoped she could explain what happened, but Sarah had no memory of the event. She could not recall leaving her yard. She did not remember the clearing. The hours of her disappearance were a complete blank. This amnesia was profound. Medical examinations revealed surprisingly little. Sarah was physically unharmed for the most part. She had a few minor scratches and bruises. These were consistent with perhaps moving through light brush. However, there were no serious injuries. Nothing to indicate a significant fall or a violent assault. Doctors could find no medical reason for her prolonged unconsciousness, nor could they explain the reported phenomenon of her floating. Her vital signs were stable. She seemed on the surface to be okay. However, as Sarah recovered, something else began. She started experiencing recurring dreams. These dreams were vivid and deeply unsettling for her. They were not like ordinary nightmares. The local police department in the small Idaho town was overwhelmed. They were faced with an event far outside their usual experience. They pursued every standard investigative procedure. They interviewed Sarah's family extensively. They spoke with all the neighbors. They canvassed the area for any witnesses. No one had seen anything suspicious. No one could offer a rational explanation for what occurred. The case quickly became a source of intense frustration for the dedicated officers involved. Investigators initially considered more conventional explanations. Could it have been an elaborate prank? Perhaps some local youths with a complex setup? But the witness testimony of the floating was consistent. The neighbor who found her was a reliable individual. The lack of any equipment or evidence of a hoax at the scene made this unlikely. The complete absence of footprints also argued against this. Every logical avenue they explored led to a dead end. The facts simply did not fit any known criminal pattern or behavior. A potentially crucial piece of evidence then complicated matters further. There was a small convenience store on the main road. Many years have now passed since that bewildering autumn evening in 1997. Sarah Miller, the young girl found floating, is now an adult. Yet the mystery of her disappearance and bizarre discovery remains unsolved. Her case has become a part of local Idaho folklore. It is a chilling tale whispered among residents. It serves as a stark reminder of the unexplained. The official case file remains open, but it is cold, gathering dust. No new leads have emerged. No conventional explanation has ever fully accounted for the documented facts. Theories ranging from undiscovered natural phenomena to human intervention have been proposed. None have been substantiated. The central, most baffling element, her levitation, defies our current understanding of physics. How could a child float unsupported? This question continues to challenge investigators and researchers. The lack of any physical evidence at the scene makes it even harder. It is a puzzle with too many missing pieces. The strange lights reported by multiple witnesses that night remain an intriguing footnote. Were they merely a coincidence? or were they connected to Sarah's experience? If so, what was their nature? The faceless figures from Sarah's recurring dreams also add a disturbing layer. Were these just products of trauma and amnesia? Or did they represent a fragmented memory of an actual encounter?